Well, we didn't do that actually. The reality is we didn't do what he wanted to in the third bill. We didn't raise the debt limit. And, if we could raise the debt limit, combine that with some serious cuts, we could actually see some improvement. I've not voted for any of the continued resolutions, as you know, because we're really abdicating our duties. We have one duty that I see. We're supposed to follow the Constitution, and the Constitution says that Congress will pass a budget. I've been there 6 years, and I think it's been 30 years since they passed a budget. I used to be on the budget committee, and I asked to be taken off of it because we're not serious about passing a budget. All we want to do is continue bad spending policies. We are $36 trillion in debt, as you know. Every 100 days, we add another deal. And then they push us up against the holidays. And look, that's not by accident. That's what. Well, that's a great question. I made that commitment to my constituents. I would do that. I would raise the debt ceiling if we combine that with some serious cuts. And yet, this bill that we passed, this so-called continued resolution, which is supposed to be bare bones. I mean, it had 5.7 billion in there for submarines, 100 million for the Coast Guard. Now, last week, we passed the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, and we added, I believe it was 6 billion new dollars in there, or 9 billion. But we added that onto it, and this is a Pentagon that is not has failed the last 8 audits. So why in the world would we continue down this policy of bad spending? Even and one other thing in this continued resolution to me, which just, I still can't figure out, is the funding for the Francis Scott Key Bridge. You remember that it got hit by, I believe, it was a container ship. Well, the ship was insured. Why are the American taxpayers bailing something out that was insured? These things are not made clear to us, and that's what happens when you rush. That's why I said if we got to stay there to Christmas Day, let's stay till Christmas Day. I trust my leadership. I just don't trust the membership. And when Elon and Vivek came and talked to us about the Doge committee, and everybody was all fired up, and I tweeted it. I had over 1 million views. I couldn't believe it, but I said, the problem's not going to be between those two guys. It's going to be the voters in that room, the members of Congress. And you know as well as I do, everybody comes home and they go to their Reagan Day dinners and MAGA dinners, and they throw the red meat out. I'm sure the Democrats go to their Truman Day dinners and do the same, and then they come back down there, and then they cuss the opposition, and then they wink at them, and then they pass more spending, and we just continue down that road. And this is the first time, though, America, I think, has really woken up and started paying attention to what is the details of these bills, and I think that's why you're seeing so much outpouring. Well, there is a lot of discouragement, but I understand what Mike's up against. I mean, he's got a three-majority lead. If a bad case of the flu comes through, there we're in the minority. I mean, that's the reality of Washington today, and he has some tough decisions. I think ultimately it's going to be decided who President Trump likes, because I believe that will weigh in heavily on the decision making of that. Because right currently, President Trump works very well with Mike Johnson. They have a great relationship, and possibly. I'll make my own decision. If I like Mike, I voted for him when he ran this time. I mean, he was a clear consensus winner, and so I think he has to show me that we're gonna be serious about making these cuts. We're not going to say, well, let's pass this one more time, one more of these bad spending bills, so we can get back in shape. We say we don't trust Joe Biden with money, but we gave him over 100 billion in one account and billions in others, and yet we continue doing this same thing, and we keep saying next time, next time, next time. Well, we're $36 trillion in debt. Every 100 days we add another trillion. We're going to run off that cliff, and I don't want to be one that's held responsible for that, because I think America deserves better, and we need to start talking seriously about fiscal responsibility, both parties.